What's up, YouTube? This is Cast One. Today we're going to make a 4 rod dryer with a stand. Sorry I haven't been around to do videos. I kind of took a break for the holidays and get some things organized, but I'm going to try to start right back up and making some videos. And I need a 4 rod dryer, and I decided I'm going to make my own. I know I can buy it, but basically I want to see if I can do this. Being that said, make sure that you guys follow the right ways to do things. I'm not an electrician. This is simply for entertainment, and for you to possibly change or follow, but I'm not in charge. I don't want to be liable for you burning down your house or something like that. So let's get started. What you're gonna need, you're gonna need a 4 microwave motors, and these I got off of Banggood, and I will leave descriptions in the box below. So these are 18 RPMs. I like going a little fast for my dryer. 18 is probably the most I would do. I wouldn't go up to like a 30 or 50. That's too fast. But these are 15. They say 15 to 18. You'll need rocker switch. These are 2-prong, 2-prong rocker switch. Then you'll need T connectors. You don't necessarily need T connectors. I figured this would be easier. You could solder it. You can crimp them. But I'm going to try these T connectors. You'll need shaft couplings, kind of like the one that's on this one right here. These are 7mm. They fit the shaft of the motor, like I said. Then you'll need wire. This is just wire that I had laying around. I've already used some of it for another project, but I think I got this at a big box store. You'll need a power cord. It doesn't have to necessarily be this one. It could be a ground wire. I'm going to rig it up without a ground wire because I'm pretty sure I can do it without it. You need 4 2-inch PVC caps. And then you'll need, I figured out that if I use these, we're going to try 2 different things. We'll try either the lids that go on, onto cups for kids, like that one. There's a straw here and it's got a sippy hole there, but we're going to try that to hold a rod. And if that doesn't work, we're going to try these silicone stretch cup lids. So one or the other, we'll have to figure it out when we get there. And then you'll need a piece of wood. Now you can use MDF, you can use OSB, you can use regular, this is a oak plywood, so I'll be using this and cutting out our pieces. Next thing we're going to do is measure. Alright, so measuring this, it could be tricky, it could be easy. I wanted it narrow, more narrow, so it goes in a certain place in my rod shop. Then I needed it to be wider. Yes, we could easily measure the width of the motors and the caps and filled it out and just did what, 12 inches wide and however probably about 8 inches tall, but I needed it to fit in a more narrow space. So how I'm going to cut my base is I'm going to do it 10.5, okay, by 17. Okay, so you got your piece of wood. You're gonna cut if you follow my plans, you would cut it 10.5 and 17 inches. Sorry, I don't do metric. So in order to get all 4 motors evenly across this area, we need to know the rise and the run of this angle. So the rise is 17 inches. The run is 10.5. That means the diagonal was 20 inches, and the angle will be 58 degrees. So we're not going to cut at this angle. We're just using that angle, bug. I'm going to use this angle as a reference. So if I'm going to connect these 2 points, that is going to be 20 inches. This is only 18 ruler. There's 18. Oh, I guess I'm a little, oh, I'm there. 20 inches. So we got our board, I guess, so we can do this the right way. It's always good to get everything right done on paper before you start. Alright, so you got the idea. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, so it's 1 inch from the bottom. Now I want to find the center of my first circle from this corner. It's going to be 2 3/4 inch.
So I'm here. Yeah, you'll find that corner.
2 3/4 is the first one. The second one is going to be 7 7/16. 7/16. I wish I could make it easier, but that's as close as I can get it in this scenario. So 7/16. Right there is the second one. The third one is 12 1/8. Right there. And the fourth one is going to be 16 13/16.
So 16 and 13/16.
That is the center for all of our motors, or the 2-inch PVC caps. Now we're going to get a compass. Here's our compass, and we're going to set it to 1 5/16. We're going to put this on center. This is our caps, our motor caps. No, I'm sorry, the PVC caps. Alright, so there's our caps. The center is where our motor is going to be coming into the cap. So we want to mark directly straight underneath our center. We want to mark 1/4 inch. now we take our compass that was set at 1 5/16 and we're going to use this mark where we just mark at a quarter of an inch. We make a mark above our line, but on center. Okay. Then we flip it around. We're going to put it on that mark straight in line. And from there, we mark about a 3/8 of a circle based off our main circle, based off our cap.
So we line it up.
Basically, what we're marking here is, this is how I'm going to cut mine, so that the shaft will stick over this hump. And if we do it right, all we got to do is duplicate this and we'll have a stand.
To go with it. That's on point too.
Alright, so we got that set up. From where it connects on the outside, I'm considering this the outside. I'm going to say this is out. Oh my god, I can't spell. We're going to call this out. We'll call this in. What we're going to do is we're going to measure a quarter of an inch from where it connects to our cap circle, our main circle. We're going to measure a quarter inch, and then we're going to connect with a straight line to the inner circle of the one below it. And here we don't need to worry about it. What you do, this will be easier when you duplicate it on a board, because you have an edge that you could take like your square and line it up with. But you're gonna go ahead and mark from that end, and then you're gonna go up here to this straight edge, or this the inside of the last one on top, and you just mark it from there. And now you can mark from the 3/8 that we're going to cut to our mark, and now it's simply just connect that mark to the inside mark there. It's going to be a slight retraction. It's going to be an angle. It's not going to be 90 degrees. Okay? So basically, all that will be gone. Yeah, it's not going to be 17 inches high because we really don't need all that extra space. So now that we could just simply cut it off right there. I think if I did it right, this would be 2 inches, maybe roughly. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate this onto the board. I'm going to cut my boards down. Now you can cut your boards on a table saw. You can use a skill saw if you got a straight hand. A circular saw is what I meant. You could use a jigsaw. You can use a hand saw. Whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to do mine, being that I have a 4-foot piece by 2 feet. I'm going to cut it on the table saw. I'm going to probably cut a 10 and a half, and then I'll cut the 24 to 17 with the table saw. Once I have this done and written up, I'll cut it on probably a jigsaw. So let's get this written up on the board. Off camera, this is where I do all my measurements on to get where I am there. So now what we're gonna do is cut it. So I'm thinking I'll just cut straight across here, and I'll probably use a jigsaw for the rest of it. So when we get back to it, it'll be done. There it is. Basically, I cut my edges, and then with the curves, I came in with a jigsaw, and tried to do my best to make it still curved. And then I took either a rounded file or I actually found what worked best for me is taking a dowel, the big old dowel, and wrapping a piece of sandpaper around it and just sanding it down. It doesn't have to be pretty because it's only there for support. It looks ugly right now, but it'll be sanded at the end. I'll do a sand over and get all the pencil marks out of there. And so for the base, so like I said, I had a 48 by 24 piece of oak plywood. So when I cut down the 17 inches, I still had a big chunk left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the slabs that's left over, and this will be the official base. This is all base. This is the stand, and the motors are going to go on this side, or should they go on this side? Definitely not like that. It would be facing you. So whatever side you decide to put your motors on, you want to, if you're going to do it like me, which I'm going to cut a dado into this bottom board, but if I put the motors on this side, that means I'm going to have more bottom base for the motors, and plus for the weight, because for these, anyway, this is probably, I would give it probably a half a pound, give or take. So if I put the motors on this side, that means I'm going to make the dado coming from this way, or if I decide to put them on this side, which I'm brainstorming right now as we're doing it. So I don't know. I'm deciding how exactly I want to do this. But anyway, I'll decide that in a minute. So that's one done. Now, also I had my table saw set up. I cut an extra 10.5 by 17, and I already marked basically the center line to it. And before I complete this and attach it to the bottom, I will make sure I mark everything on this board, because once I do attach the motors, I have to figure out, basically, when you want to get the rod to sit using a stand, you want the rod to sit as even as you possibly can, because there's always going to be a natural taper to a rod. So I am going to probably make this slightly higher, because it's going to go past halfway. It's going to go half the distance of the rod to support it. I guess the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut that dado. I need to figure out what side I want my motors to go on. And I think I'm gonna do it on this side. And you know, it's not gonna be dead on center because you got all those motors. But yes, you do have this here too. So it's gonna be just off center. Well, when I get back, show you it's done.